evening, and to those of you watching on KCAL Channel 9, we welcome you to the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the Tropicana Resort and Casino. Tonight we have an exciting card for you this evening, and it's all being brought to you by Forum Boxing, the Tropicana, and the undisputed king of beers, Budweiser. We head right into our first bout this evening. It's scheduled for 10 rounds in the junior welterweight division. Your referee for this bout is Mitch HALPEAN. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner on my right. Tonight he wears a black trunks trimmed in white, and he comes to us from Bridgeport, Connecticut. He weighed in at 139 pounds with a professional record of 14 wins, 5 defeats, 3 draws, 8 wins by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Joey Bad Company Negron. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner on my left. Tonight, he wears the white trunks trimmed in blue. He comes from Ciudad Obregón, Mexico. He weighed in at 141 pounds. He has a fine professional record of 22 wins, only 2 defeats, with 20 KOs to his credit. Please welcome Hector El Cañonero Quiroz.
At all times, obey my commands at all times. Any questions? Good luck.
The third man in the ring is Mitch HALPEAN, and you could see with those two men there that Quiroz is exceedingly tall, 5'11" to 5'3" for Negron, and the age difference, Negron is 7 years older, and he came in at 2 pounds lighter, and he has a distinct disadvantage in the reach department. Quiroz 71 inches and 61 for Negron. The rules that govern boxing here in the state of Nevada, 3 knockdown rule is in effect. There's no standing 8 count. Cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. Only the referee can stop the fight. Accidental headbutt go to the scorecards after the 3rd round. Mitch HALPEAN's ready, so are the fighters. And let's go. It's scheduled for 10, and here's round number 1. The difference in size, gentlemen, at least 7, maybe 8 inches. If Negron can get inside, we'll find out whether or not Quiroz has developed some ability to box and evade an attacker.
Well, it is, you know, and you mentioned Quiroz's height, and I think more so in this case, it's that Negron is exceedingly small for this division, Tom, at 5'3".
I don't think he belongs in this division, to be honest.
And I think he would admit that himself.
I think he did. He says he's fighting about 7 pounds above the weight that he would like to compete in, but he's been winning at this weight.
Well, he has fought at almost every weight. He is a professional fighter who has had his ups and downs, no pun intended. He has fought in Europe as well as in the United States. He has not always been that dedicated by his own admission. But under the new management and the tutelage of Mr. Steve Canton, why, Negron apparently has a new lease on his boxing life, and he's out to prove that he is indeed a man to be reckoned with. But
let go in there,
I think at 135 or even 130 pounds, he might be more of a force.
Right. Well, he said he's going to take to the fight to Quiroz, and that's exactly what he's doing. The problem is that when you try to do that, Tom, if you do not get under the punches or have the punches go behind you, you're going to get nailed. You're walking right into the teeth of that monstrous punch of Quiroz.
That's right. The last time we saw Quiroz look bad in the ring was that aforementioned fight with Avila when he lost the title. And Avila just outboxed him. He got off first, hit him first, hurt him, and in fact dominated the entire evening.
The one thing that he's looking for is to see if he has improved in speed. I think that's the key to his career, at least in his mind. And from what we've seen so far, he apparently is faster than the last fight.
He does look a little quicker, and yet he told us in those comments prior to the start of this, he was going to start slowly tonight, try to feel his way defensively, if not offensively, but he's come out with a vengeance here.
Well, he did for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Doesn't it say that his strategy ends as soon as the first punches connect?
Could very well be. The first time he gets hit, all of the aforementioned goes out the window, and the fight is on.
I just don't know if Negron's style is going to be right to fight Quiroz. You know, styles make fights, and a clever guy, a guy who can move, that's what's going to give Quiroz trouble. And
so far, Negron's been available to be hit, Rich.
Right, because, you know, he's a guy who wants to take the fight to Quiroz, come forward, had some success right there, but still, boy, I tell you, it's a tough task against a puncher like Quiroz.
Quiroz has got a pretty solid chin in addition to having some devastating power in each fist. Remember, 20 knockouts and 22 wins. Well, there's Joey Negron, puts him up against the ring ropes in the corner. Nailed him with some pretty solid shots. Round one has been a busy one, far busier than one would expect. And round two ought to be a dandy. We'll be back in a moment.
As they start round two, take a look at some of this round one action, because it was pretty crisp action. And Joey Negron had a tough time most of the round, but near the end of the round started to come on a little and got the crowd into it with a good flurry against Quiroz.
Here we are with round number two. Negron is the young man in the black trunks trimmed in white. He's the shorter of the two. The cannon, Hector Quiroz, in white trimmed in blue. Taller of the two men. He's 5'11". At 141 pounds. He's 2 pounds heavier than Negron, who, as we indicated to you, in case you've just joined us now, probably would be better served at about 7 pounds lighter. You can see the fights they've had in the rounds. Quiroz, not that many, simply because he's had such a devastating knockout record.
Yeah, but Negron has fought better fighters. I mean, he's been in there with Wilson Rodriguez, and he lost a close decision to Wilson Rodriguez, who's a very fine fighter. He's been in there with Daryl Tyson, so he's, in my opinion, he's fought the better people.
I think the equalizer in this case, or maybe the advantage is on Quiroz, just sheer power. And I think that Negron is ideal for his style. He's coming at him. He's playing right into his hands.
Well, Negron has fought the more experienced, maybe the better fighters. He is, however, a little bit shy of the punching power that Quiroz has, that Fernando referred to, but he doesn't seem to be discouraged at all. He's right in front of Quiroz and willing to exchange with him. Has got a nice jab working. Quiroz tried to pump an uppercut up there to even things up, misses with a wild left.
Negron believes that if this fight goes into the later rounds, he would have a chance. However, he's going right at Quiroz at this point.
And landing some nice combinations here in round number two. And the crowd likes every bit of it here at the famed Trop in Las Vegas.
That was a good flurry by Negron, and if you noticed, Quiroz really had to take a couple of steps back and collect himself before he started his own attack again.
Another thing that Quiroz wanted to work was combination work, rather than just throwing one punch, throw him in bunches.
Well, he's being out combinationed in this round.
Well, he just got nailed with a left uppercut that jolted him noticeably.
Get up in there, come on. Negron blocked most of those punches there, and he's fighting a very good round, utilizing the geometry of the ring, moving to the side, then coming in, flurrying, and getting back out before Quiroz can launch something himself.
Pumps a couple of short jabs in there. Quiroz comes in, finds Negron covering up, throws a right hand to the body that, not a power punch to be sure. Conditioning is going to be an important item in this. Make no mistake about it. As round number two is coming to a close, in a big round for Joey Negron.
Round three starts live upper right, but look at the lower left-hand corner. Look at Joey Negron going to work on Hector Quiroz. Quiroz forced to give ground there and back off in a surprise turn of events in round two.
Between rounds in Negron's corner, why Steve, his manager, was just all praise for the work he'd done, and why not? What was going on over there with Quiroz, Fernando? You were listening in.
They were asking him to go more into the body, to use the left hand and throw combinations. If he misses with the right, come in with the left.
I noticed they were also gesturing graphically about a little body movement, upper body movement. Stay away from this guy a little bit.
I see a look in Negron where he's picking up in confidence, Tom. He's coming after Quiroz now.
Quiroz is a prohibitive favorite. He's the former NABO junior welterweight champion. And of course, our main event tonight is going to feature the current NABO junior welterweight champ, Hector the Matador Lopez, in against Mark the Shark Lewis. And there was, of course, not that many weeks ago, the announcement that these two guys, Hector and Hector, would get together in a junior welterweight battle, and one assumes that if the two come out winners tonight, that'll be a future item down the road. But
well, that's no lead pipe cinch right now.
That's not the way Negron is fighting.
The one thing that Quiroz is doing for his cause is using a lot of punches to the body. That should be worrying out Negron at the later stages of the fight.
Well, I don't know if Negron can punch that hard, gentlemen, but Quiroz is walking right in on him like a man with a purpose, and Negron was holding on for a moment.
Yeah, he's in a little trouble here, Tom.
Well, when you see baby-faced Hector Quiroz in person, you wonder where he gets all of his power. I don't know that he knows. He's just been able to hit with authority since he was a kid. And he can punch.
He says that his father had some fights in the streets, and his brother had fights in the streets, and they can all punch.
But you know, one thing to keep in mind about Quiroz, we're often critical of his lack of defense, the fact that he gets hit a lot. He's really learning on the job. He's already had more pro fights than he did amateur. He only had a 20-fight amateur career, 17-3. So really, this is on-the-job training even now.
Also, it's a very weak amateur program in Mexico. There's not the quality that you have in the States, for instance.
But I will agree, gentlemen, we are quick to criticize, yet I've often thought that Quiroz has a world of potential. That kind of punching power at 140 pounds, if he were more involved in training on a regular basis, a more direct regimen, he might just be as good as they have.
Well, I don't think he was done any favors by that label, the next Chavez, you know.
No, he said it was a burden.
Well, of course, you know, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. He kind of looks like Julio, and he can punch, but, you know, there's a lot of dissimilarities, too.
Round 3 coming to a close, and it's been a big rebound round for Hector the Cannon Quiroz. It's scheduled for 10. We'll be back.
As round number 4 starts, take a look at Quiroz. He had a big round in round 3, and his power really began to tell. And the difference in the two fighters certainly is that power, and it showed up in round 3.
Interesting between rounds in Negron's corner, why his handler did a fine job. You look good out there. You've got him sucking wind. Well, I don't know about that, but I don't think he won the round. And I don't think Negron was buying all of that either. What was going on in Quiroz's corner, Fernando?
They were just telling him that he was doing fine and just keep on working up and down and throw combinations. I think he's doing a good job now. At least it's improving from the second round.
Yes, he had a big comeback round in number 3, and here we are in round number 4.
You know, one thing about Hector too is, you know, people like him, and he's popular. He's developing a following. The other kid, Negron, is likable too. I got a big kick out of our meeting with him yesterday with all the announcers and the people involved with him. He was very funny, and he came in and sat down at the desk, and we were all surrounding him, and he goes, "Oh my God, it looks like a parole board meeting." And he's been there before, folks, so he knows what it looks like.
He was quick to tell us, been there, done that. And he said, and I'm free. And we said, nothing's going to change that, Joey. So we'll just get on with the rest of it. But I think the crowning achievement, Fernando, came when after we had taken all of our notes, somebody brought up Wilfredo Gomez and Salvador Sanchez, and the old Puerto Rican-Mexican rivalry blossomed really in full bloom there.
Well, that's a rivalry between the championship fights between Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, and they're pretty much even on the 70 mark, 70 for each one, and that's a tradition there.
Negron has landed some solid shots, but Quiroz has just all but ignored him, and he's landed some good lefts to the body and a chopping right hand to the side of the jaw a moment ago. Negron is tough to discourage, though.
Yeah, he's having a pretty good bounce back round here. He looks just too small in there against Quiroz.
And Negron said that he would make it 71-70 for Puerto Rico.
Yes, he was going to make that thing change in favor of the Islanders. Quiroz. Solid left hand, first to the body, then to the chin.
That body shot hurt, Tom. That one really took something out of Negron.
And Quiroz is still going to the body, and he just might be able to really hurt and take away the legs from Negron.
And Negron comes fighting back with left-right combinations to the jaw. That has Quiroz covering up here in round number 4. I tell you, from the opening bell, this one's been action-packed. Hope you're enjoying it. Live fight night on KCAL. We're at the famed Trop in Las Vegas, the Tropicana Resort and Casino. Mitch Halpern, the third man in the ring. Just a handful of seconds remaining. Round 4 going into the books. Round 5 awaits us. Stay tuned. Out they come for round number 5, and it's been a busy, action-packed fight since the opening bell. Each corner, I'm sure, felt they won the previous round. I'm going to ask my 2 resident experts. Rich Ferrata, who'd you give the last round to?
Tom, I gave that round to Negron. I thought he did a great job, and he really had a big last 10 seconds, and I thought he won the round with the flurries that he put together, and that evens up the scorecard after 4 rounds on my card.
I had a nice left-right combination for him in the closing moments, Fernando.
I give it to Quiroz. I think that, Negron had a good 10 seconds at the end, but most of the round was dominated by Hector Quiroz.
I know that nobody's interested. I thought Quiroz won the opening part of the round. I like Negron at the end. I called the round even.
Oh, what a chicken.
I'm not allowed, but I wrote it down even before I asked you guys.
You're Mr. Bravery there.
Mr. No Commitment.
Somebody
All right, step back,
had that round even. Trust me. I've been checking with my ringside experts. And I don't mean you two guys. I'm talking about the judge.
The real experts.
But I was watching Negron in between rounds, and he looked a little used up.
I thought he did too. Yeah, I thought he did too. Head was down. He was kind of slumped. He was not. Oh, nice left, right, left combination by Negron. Backs Quiroz up.
You know, this is just his third fight since October of '95, Tom. So we're talking about 2-year time, only 3 fights. Not very active.
No, and probably heavier than he really would think he'd want to be. In against a guy who at 141 pounds seems to be a natural at that weight and has the punch to prove it.
Quiroz also had a pretty lengthy layout for his career. He was off over 6 months.
Yeah.
But he said he has a fight scheduled in May, June, April. Just couldn't make somehow something happened to those fights.
Yeah. Well, in fact, something happened to his scheduled opponent for this one, Marlon Thomas, the guy that he knocked out seconds after the bell had ended in the Great Western Forum bout. And that replay never quite came off, and so Joey Negron stepped in, and to his credit, I don't know that Negron was really doing that much serious training as recently as a week or 10 days ago.
Well, they say that he was getting ready for a fight, and he had at least 3 weeks prior to this date, so I think he's in shape.
He certainly looks like it. We're battling here in the 5th round. It's scheduled for 10. Neither man has been down, and both men have taken turns in landing some solid shots, and Negron proves that point with a nice combination against Quiroz.
Let go.
Half a minute remaining here in the round. Mitch Halpern doing an excellent job, but these two guys have not really been in a clinch but a couple of times in this fight. They've been very busy punching each other.
You know, Quiroz is doing what he was doing against Avila, which was letting him get up first.
That could be devastating to him. Round coming to a close. It's scheduled for 10. Round 6 is next.
Well, Quiroz has landed the heavier blows. The flashier combinations certainly have been landed by Negron, and you saw one there in round number 5.
Scheduled for 10. You're looking at the action as these two men come out in round number 6 here at the famed Tropicana Resort and Casino on the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're in the pavilion room. Nice crowd on hand, very vocal, and certainly treated to an opening bout that is a dandy. Don't forget, we've got our title bout coming up. Hector Lopez in against Mark Lewis, the NABO junior welterweight champion. Lopez puts his crown on the line. That'll be an exciting go for you, scheduled for 12. But I tell you, gentlemen, Negron has given Hector Quiroz all he can handle here so far in the first 5 rounds of this fight.
I think if Quiroz is able to pull this through, it would give him quite a bit of experience that he does in fact need, because just like you said, he is pretty much training in the job.
And you know, Rich, I think you'll agree. On the other hand, if Negron continues like this, even if he loses a decision at this weight, big roundhouse right by Negron, his resurgence in boxing, a new field of confidence for him, will certainly be evident. I think he would go on and his career would really blossom.
Yeah, he looks pretty good here tonight. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight in forum fights at all, because he is an exciting fighter. And Hector Quiroz is not getting off. He is not letting his hands go.
No. Negron is the smaller of the two men, in case you've just joined us live here on Fight Night on KCAL.
One of the things that he's doing now, or that he's not doing now, that he was doing earlier, is going to the body. And it just seems that when he does stop going to the body, he starts getting hit.
He hurt Negron in a couple of earlier rounds with body shots.
Hit him with the left hand that really was painful, and he just dropped a right hand in on the body. Quiroz did, that I think Negron felt. Hector showing some upper body movement and head feinting, and gets nailed with a left and a right.
And you know that knee wobble, Hector's knee wobble there after the second punch.
Now he comes back with the flurry of his own, but Negron is right in front of him. Minute remaining, just under that here in round number 6.
Foreign boxing's reputation as the house of upsets could possibly continue here tonight, Tom.
Even on a bad leg, why Antonio Curtis has got the former champion in with a tough customer. Make no mistake about it.
Now, Negron definitely got a shot in this fight.
Monday night, a great fight card at the Great Western Forum. WBO bantamweight title on the line. Contenders number 1 and 2. Jorge Julio is in against Oscar Maldonado, and what a scrap that should be.
Well, I think that Julio will vindicate me. I've said for the last year and a half that I thought he was the best bantamweight in the world. We'll find out.
Round 6 coming to a close. It's scheduled for 10, and we'll be back right after.
2 million.
As round 7 starts, we could be on the way to an upset here tonight. There's Joey Negron doing great work in round 6. Again, flurrying, flashy combinations which catch the eyes of the judges.
Well, he's caught the eye also of my ringside experts, Fernando Paramo and Rich Murata. Murata's got him ahead 2 points on his scorecard. And Fernando has the bout even at 57 points apiece. Were you able to overhear anything in the corner of Quiroz at all, Fernando?
Not much, not really. We were pretty much on the other corner, telling Negron that he is coming up, that he is doing very well.
Well, I tell you, Hector is really in for a tough fight.
Step back.
Now, it must be remembered also that this is not the fight that Hector Quiroz was in training for. He was working out for Marlon Thomas, and suddenly an unknown quantity. Negron steps in.
I don't think Thomas would have been any easier.
No, indeed he would not. And Thomas perhaps might have had even more of a reason when you consider the shot that came after the bell that knocked him kicking back at the Great Western Forum.
I think Quiroz needs to let those hands go, and I think he needs to hit to the body.
Did I tell you that in addition to having that championship bout at the Forum on Monday, Carlos Belio Gonzalez is on the undercard? He's in action against a fighter by the name of Elias Cruz.
Even though it was Negron that landed the big combination there that seemed to momentarily stun Quiroz, it was Negron's mouthpiece that came out, so that hurts him certainly.
Quiroz has been having problems breathing, I think, since the 4th round. The right nostril has a trickle of blood, so he might be having problems breathing right now.
Those handsome features of his are beginning to lump up a little.
We're in the 7th round here of a scheduled 10-rounder in the junior welterweight division.
You see how Negron moves to the side and then launches an attack? It's confusing Quiroz.
Boxers and movers have that effect on this hard-hitting puncher, who has a 7-inch advantage in the height department at 5'11" to 5'3", but so far that has not been a factor in the first 6 rounds and here into the closing minute of round number 7. When you mentioned Negron's mouthpiece coming out, judges see that and take it as an indication that he's not doing well and that type of thing. Did he spit it out?
I think his mouth was opening because of the reaction, but I don't think he was even hit when that fell.
Hold on. Time.
Come together with a banging of heads, and both men aware of that. Touch gloves and recognition of that possibility. And Negron with a nice left hand to the body and brought it right upstairs in the double hook.
See, Quiroz is going back to the old style. One single punch, no combinations, and he's paying for that.
Less than half a minute remaining now here in round number 7. It is scheduled for 10. And Hector Quiroz is in the fight of his young life here all of a sudden.
Let him go.
And the round closes.
And
out they come for round number 8. Joey Negron. He's in the black trunks trimmed in white. Hector Quiroz in the white trimmed in blue. We were eavesdropping in the corner with both fighters. What did the tenor of the conversation over there with Quiroz?
They told Quiroz that he has to counterpunch. I think more than counterpunch. He just has to go out and let it all hang out. He doesn't have much time anymore.
I couldn't agree with you more, Rich. I think he just got to walk right in on this guy and take the big heavy lumber to him.
Well, he'd better, Tom, and they're very confident in Negron's corner.
Yes. In fact, Steve Canton says, you're doing it, baby. You're winning it 1 round at a time, and it's hard to refute that kind of an argument. Round number 8. Negron doing more boxing and moving, trying to stay away. Steps inside.
Right. a lot more movement. You're right, Tom. A lot more upper body movement too, but a lot of leg movement. And you know what else he's been doing? He's feinting Quiroz into, and Quiroz is taking those feints, and he's making a mistake by doing that, and then he's launching punches and catching them.
One of the things that he said that he had learned quite a bit from the Avila fight, and from what it looks like, it's reverting now to what the reason of his loss then.
Bear in mind, if it comes right down to solid punching, Quiroz would have an edge. Remember, he's got to have a puncher's chance. Negron took a solid uppercut, and there's some rights and left that Quiroz is dumping on the smaller fighter from Florida. But Negron seems to be handling him pretty well for the most part.
Well, this is the first time that Negron is really trying to tie Quiroz up. I think he is being hurt by those punches.
Yeah, especially that first uppercut.
See, he can't go in there and just let Negron come in and punch without punching himself.
Well, Negron is taking a page out of John Avila. He's getting off first. He's outboxing Quiroz. Lands a stinging left hand that has the crowd oohing and awing. This is round 8, scheduled for 10. Neither man has been down.
See, this is where Quiroz should be punching, not just staying in front of Negron.
Yeah, he's slapping at the body instead of really getting his punches off with good leverage.
This is with that uppercut. It's been an effective weapon from time to time. Now that's a nice bit of business by Quiroz. He's landed 5 or 6 shots, not all of them devastating, but they have been point producing for him. He's got the mouthpieces out of Negron's mouth, and he might be in trouble. He's hanging on. Quiroz wants some punching room. He's got Negron in trouble and working him over in the ring ropes above us as Negron tries to hold on.
And I don't think Mitch realizes that he doesn't have the mouthpiece.
Well, he doesn't have his mouthpiece in. He tried to show Mitch Halpern that. There's the bell. Awfully good round for Hector Quiroz. And Negron, who seemed to be going along in pretty good fashion in round 8, suddenly got jolted a lot and then jolted some more.
Tom, that first right uppercut hurt him, and then a series of body shots really devastated Negron, I thought. All right, let's take a look at some of the action now. Quiroz in command. That straight right hand knocked the mouthpiece out of Negron's mouth, and Negron here was just trying to hang on, trying to tie him up, and Quiroz did a good job of not letting him do that.
And you know, the key to the whole thing was the body punching that he started before coming at this stage of the round.
Right, he landed about 4 or 5 really good shots to the body, clean shots.
Seconds out.
Well, Negron is really going to get a test. He hasn't been that active in the ring. He probably is fighting at a weight that he doesn't really appreciate or care for. And he's in against an avowed puncher who can really hurt you. He's put up a magnificent fight. Now we go to round number 9. But it would appear that Quiroz really had a very big round number 8. Still, this is a close fight.
You know, all that weight, that's the guts in there.
Quiroz has gone past 9 rounds 3 times. Excuse me. Only once. Excuse me. Quiroz has knocked people out with regularity early on.
Step back in here easy.
Now he's not slapping to the body.
No.
No, that's putting all of the force behind it.
Nice combinations by Negron. Boy, what a nice set of uppercuts and solid left-right combinations flush in the jaw of Quiroz.
Well, shall we pat Antonio Curtis, the matchmaker, for forearm boxing on the back already?
Step back. Watch those hands. Step back. Step back.
He has done it again. Plucked a guy that nobody from in the West Coast knows of, Joey Negron, and has made a very difficult fight for a foreign boxing fighter, Hector Quiroz.
And Quiroz bobbing and weaving on the rope, trying to elude a rush of punches from Negron. This is round number 9. It's scheduled for 10. I tell you, Negron bounced back pretty good from what looked like he was just on wobbly legs in round 8. Look at him flurry now. And again, a solid left. Jolts Quiroz as he moves in.
This is where the trainers take over. You know, what did you do in the gym? This is where it pays off. An extra mile in the morning.
Let go. Let go.
bad-looking punches, but Quiroz blocked almost every one of them. But they look good, and the crowd loved him. There's a real mouse under the right eye of Quiroz. Real mouse under the eye of Quiroz. Tape has come off one of the wraps around Negron, and they're going to take time to do that. Negron's got a nick over his left eye that happened early on, and Hector has got a couple of dandy mouses, one under each eye. The one under the right eye is a beauty. Again, they haven't got it fixed right.
And I don't know who this benefits more, Quiroz or Negron. They're both tired.
I'll tell you, they've each had their moments in this round, Tom, and what happens in this last minute is could determine maybe the outcome of the fight.
So back at it they go.
Let go, let go.
Don't forget the big fight Monday night at the Great Western Forum. Jorge Julio, Oscar Maldonado, contenders 1 and 2 for the WBO bantamweight title.
Don't forget the main event either.
That's right, coming up tonight. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Our next KCAL live fight night will be September 27th at Lake Tahoe. And guess who's going to headline the card for you then, fight fans? Marco Antonio Barrera. Round number 9 is slipping into the books. It's been a dandy. Quiroz chasing, bouncing, darting, moving. Negron, there's the bell. One more round to go, and this one is really up for grabs.
I have it 86-86. I don't know about Rich.
I think it's very close. What do you got, Rich?
86-85.
86-85. All right, coming up, still to be decided. The NABO Junior Welterweight title. The man that has the crown, Hector, the Matador Lopez. He's in against Mark, the Shark Lewis. There's Hector. At 30 years of age, still a very, very efficient item in the junior welterweight division. A man of extreme confidence.
And whoever wins this fight might be closing in on a fight against Lopez if he was to win.
Mark Lewis is 180 degrees. He is serious, somber, quiet, soft-spoken, deeply religious. Both men do have one other item in common, or maybe two. They both fought Bolillo Gonzalez, and both men are very, very family-oriented. It must be noted, both men are deeply devoted to their families. That should be a dandy coming up. Here's round 10, and Quiroz, I think, has got a lot of work to do to pull this one out. I think he's at best even, maybe up by a point. This is a tough round. Negron 86-85 on Rich Murata's card. Fernando has it dead even. We don't know how the judges have it, the ones that count. But it's been a good one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Either man has been down.
I think this is going to be a great fight for both of them in their coming back trail.
Nice right hand thrown by Quiroz. Jolted Negron for a moment.
Quiroz has come out in this last round to try to set the pace and try to set the style that the last round would be fought in. One thing I've really liked about Negron tonight is I think he has fantastic recuperative powers.
Amazing.
He's been hurt on a couple of occasions, and he really is able to bounce back a few seconds later, or if he gets the whole between rounds period to rest like it never happened.
He got his mouthpiece knocked out in round number 8 and came back in round number 9 and looked like he'd just come out of the dressing room, fresh and ready to go. And earlier, as you pointed out, he was devastated by a couple of solid shots, hanging on, came back and fought well in the next round, and look at him here.
I think the crowd has swung to the side of Negron, too, because he's the little guy, he's the underdog, and he is pretty flashy with those combinations.
I think he's fighting. And I still think this fight's pretty much up in the air.
I think it is, too. I tell you, if he's this quick at 139 pounds, at 130 or 35, he'd be, boy.
Not only that, but if he can take a punch at this weight, can you imagine he can take a much stronger punch at a lighter weight?
Indeed. Joey Negron. Family's Puerto Rican. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. Fought throughout the New England area. Got the nickname Bad Company. I'll leave it up to you to decide how that came about. moved to Florida, needed a change in neighborhood, a change in outlook. This one's going right to the wire. Negron is winning this 10th round, gentlemen.
He certainly went over the crowd.
I think he went over the crowd. I didn't think he was winning by that large of a margin, but he's getting there.
Handful of seconds remain. Quiroz is going to have to knock him out, I think, to win it. Either that or it's going to be a very hotly disputed.
That's a terrific bit of red-hot action.
Boy, what a great fight. Look at the crowd. They're up and screaming. Wow. Well, I don't know who won it. I'm sure you've got an opinion. We have ours. We'll be back in a moment. Fight Night on KCAL is being brought to you in part by Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Welcome back to KCAL Fight Night Live in the Tropicana in Las Vegas, the scene of what has been a dandy 10-round junior welterweight go. The decision is in before we get it official. How did you have it, Rich?
Tom, I think that Joey Negron won this fight. I had it 96-94 for Negron. I think he pulled off the upset.
I know that Fernando Paramo had it even going into the last round, and I scored the last round dead even. Excuse me, I gave it to Negron, and I had the fight even. I had it a draw. Let's find out. The judges' cards are in, and Mr. Gutierrez has the call. If you will, please, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 exciting rounds of boxing action, we go to the scorecards for the decision. Judge C.J. Ross scored the bout 96-94, Quiroz. Judge Jerry Ross scored the bout 96-94, Negron. And Judge Chuck Giampa scored the bout 95-95. We have a draw.
Well, it's kind of like kissing your sister. The crowd doesn't like it, I think, because they, as Rich Murata said earlier, went for the underdog, the little guy Negron. But I tell you, it was a whale of a good fight between both men. And I'm sure each of them learned that he can fight at 140, and how good would he be at 135? And Hector Quiroz realized he was in a battle tonight. And he, first of all, is up there with Fernando Paramo. We're going to talk to both men. Fernando, find out what Hector thought first.
Hector, tell us what happened to this fight out. The decision, what do you feel about the decision as a draw? ¿Qué crees como empate de la decisión?
La verdad es que yo creo que me la robaron. Yo creo que en esta pelea, aunque estuve un poco mal por mi inactividad, ¿no? que nunca pensé que me fuera a hacer daño.
Well, Hector believes that he was robbed. He says that although he was a little bit slowed down because of his inactivity, didn't feel it was going to be this bad, but happened. A rematch, una revancha después?
Claro que sí, con mucho gusto, sí me gustaría. Allá en el forum, por favor.
He says he would love to have it back at the forum. Okay, now we're going to look at a replay. Vamos a ver la repetición. Dinos qué está pasando. Tell us what is going on. Well, I guess we're going to see what is going on. Okay, dinos qué pasa.
Bueno, pues se me complicó un poquito el estilo de él, ¿no?
His style was a little bit complicated.
Difícil, pero ya ve que lo logré conectar.
It was difficult, but I was able to connect it.
Mejores golpes en toda la pelea y
I was able to land the better punches in all the fight. Okay, okay. Now tell us. Now we are with Negron. Negron, tell us what is going on. What do you feel about the decision, first of all?
Well, I'm kind of satisfied with the draw. You know, I'm fighting 8 pounds over my weight class. You know, he got me by a whole lot of reach and a whole lot of natural weight. So, you know, I'm kind of satisfied with the decision. You know.
Are you satisfied with your performance?
Believe it or not, it can be better, and I can beat this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I got more experience than he do.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the action. Tell us what is going on at this point.
Well, you know, right there, I'm just trying to stay close to him because his punches is wild. And you see, trying to work on mine, you know. He's a strong kid. I give it to him. He's strong, but I got too much skills for that, you know. I got too much skills for that.
Okay, he says that he would love to have a rematch at the forum. Would you like to have a rematch with him, or are you going on to other things?
Like I said, I'm 8 pounds over my weight. If he meet me halfway at 135, more than gladly we'll do it again.
Okay. Okay, well, I don't know if this will ever be made. I think not. At least a lot of people were satisfied. A lot of people were not. It was a great fight.
It was a good fight. He's a good fighter, and you know, I wish him the best. You know?
Dice que te desea lo mejor, que eres un gran peleador.
Gracias, igualmente, pero creo que él no es más bueno que yo.
Okay, well, he says that he doesn't believe he's better than you. Okay,
that's your opinion, baby.
That's his opinion. Okay, well, hope you all have your opinion. Back to ringside.
Well, it was a magnificent 10-round junior welterweight bout. Nobody is satisfied. You know the old saying, like kissing your sister. Well, if my sister was Ava Gardner, that'd be something else indeed. Coming up, while Negron celebrates in vain, Hector Lopez defends his NABO junior welterweight crown against Mark the Shark Lewis. I don't know if they can do better than this one, but we'll see. A glamorous new hotel.